just understanding defense, where people are going to, where guys are going to be when this coverage is happening. So I think that's something that I've developed this year and this spring and fall, watching film, just going over things where I could have hit this pass, if I could have hit the check down right here instead of forcing a pass here. Like, so that's something big that I focus on. And obviously the turnovers have went down a lot. So that's a big thing that I put an emphasis on coming into this spring season.
May I follow up by asking about the Richmond Spiders huddling tendencies? You didn't do a whole lot of that, as I recall, in 2019, but you are doing a whole lot of that in this spring. And I wonder what difference that's made to the production and to you.
Yeah, I think that obviously it changes the pace of the game. We have the ball a lot more and our defense is off the field a lot more. I think that's a big thing for us, is just making sure that these guys are rested and ready to go back in for the next series, and us just controlling the clock and driving the ball down the field. It also helps us with the play calling. Just if we have something from the sideline, if we're not huddling something from the sideline and it just gets miscommunicated, it's tough when you're on the field. Rather, when I'm huddling, I can explain what's going on to the guys right there instead of being spread out on the field. So I think that's the biggest change for us huddling wise.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What's the week been like, Joe? I mean, without giving away who's playing Saturday and who's not, just how you guys have kind of handled that practice, maybe guys in different positions.
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of that question. Will you repeat it?
How you're handling kind of the last week since the COVID pause and getting back on the field with some guys, without some, maybe some at different positions, as coach has said, just how the week is.
It's how the week's been going. It's been going good. I think guys are obviously having to change and a little bit, move around different pieces, but I think for the most part, everybody has a good understanding of our schemes and our system and what we want to get accomplished when we go out there and play William & Mary. So it's not that big of a change for them, but it's just figuring out what they're going to do on certain protections or different situations that happen throughout the game.
Joe, John O'Connor here again. You see what's happening around the league in terms of teams discontinuing play for various reasons. What is a player's perspective on this when he sees Albany, and he sees New Hampshire, and sees Rhode Island? Obviously, Elon looks like it's down. Towson decided in October it wasn't playing. How do players view all this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're not playing those teams, but I think it's unfortunate for any player. Like, if your season just gets ended or people are opting out, it's tough. It's tough mentally, I think, because you work all year just to kind of get out there and go play with your teammates. But it's dangerous now because of COVID, and guys are so at risk. So I mean, it's tough for a player, especially. I think it just puts a lot of mental challenges, I think, when you opt out, just all the work you put in. So that's my perspective.
Could you imagine going through this spring without competing at all? There was that possibility, obviously, if you hadn't had a spring season.
Yeah, there was that possibility, and I'm fortunate enough to have the spring season. But I mean, watching the fall season this past year, that was definitely hard. All these teams that are playing on Saturday and we're out there practicing and not playing, it was definitely tough. But I think having that spring season, we could look forward to a goal, and not having something, it would be tough, and we wouldn't have anything to look forward to. So I think having that spring season helped us kind of have something set. We're going to work for that instead of just having nothing and being kind of everything up in the air.
Thank you.
Hey, Joe, to kind of piggyback on that, you guys have a chance to finish a regular season undefeated and possibly make the playoffs. How much talk amongst the team has been about a return to the postseason if you guys can beat William & Mary this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, obviously our main focus right now is William & Mary. We got to get by them this week and go undefeated and keep that Capital Cup. But I mean, there's some chatter. I mean, we know what it's like to be in the playoffs. I think my early years we were in the playoffs, so we know what it's like. I think just communicating to the guys that we need to focus week by week and work towards the team we're playing. That's the biggest thing.
Anything else for Joe? All right. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Turner here. Open it up for questions.
Mr. Turner, John O'Connor here from the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Joe suggested that the offense huddling on a more regular basis, one of the benefits is to have the defense seated for a little bit longer. Is that something you guys feel this year and something that you think has been beneficial for Richmond defensively?
Yeah, we've definitely had a lot of time to recover on the sidelines. And that's part of just the way the offense is running as far as like taking more time from the play clock. But I think also just the way that our offense has been executing, there's been a ton of just long drives. And I remember multiple times in a game going up and talking to Wheeler or something and saying, I feel like I've been sitting here for at least 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So when you have an offense that can take that much time off the clock and come away with a scoring drive, that's always huge for the defense.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Turner, Sean Robertson with CBS 6 here in town. I asked Joe about how much talk amongst the team has been about completing an undefeated regular season and, making the playoffs. So I asked you, how much talk amongst the guys has been about what's ahead for you guys?
We've definitely been chatting about it, kind of like what Joe said. That was one of our goals coming into this season, and to really be able to use this season to its maximum potential. There's opportunity to go win a CAA championship, opportunity to win a national championship, and although it's a short season, you still have that opportunity. So I think we've done a really good job so far of seizing that opportunity, and obviously William and Mary is a huge game regardless what's at stake, even if nothing was at stake. Bringing home that Capital Cup is huge. But then adding on, we're really playing for a conference championship here. We're playing to get a playoff berth. That's really huge for our guys. So we know what's at stake, and we've been really working and keeping that in mind with everything we do. It's not only a big game versus William and Mary, it's a big game to continue to propel us on the track that we want to be in and following our goals.
How much better are you guys from when you played William and Mary the first time?
A lot. We're a lot better. We've gelled a lot, especially from the defensive perspective. I can't talk too much from the offense, but you can tell that they've gotten a lot better as well. But we've gelled a lot. We fixed a lot of things. And even turning on the film, I watched the entire game with Coach yesterday. I was like, wow, this is some ugly stuff for me. And just seeing the big growth from the first game to the second game to the third game, I'm really excited to come back out and put on a much better showing technique-wise, alignment-wise. I think as a defense, we're gonna be much crisper, much cleaner, and we're gonna continue to have that same mentality of flying around to the ball and making some big plays.
Oh, but you mentioned it's a short season, but it is a season. And I wonder if you could even imagine having gone through all of 2020 and then the first half of 2021 without playing games.
I mean, it would have definitely been hard, even just having the fall season be canceled, and kind of like what Joe was saying also earlier, just watching other teams play football and thinking, that should be me. We should be playing them. Like, we would be playing this team this week. And especially too, knowing what we had in this team, we've been doing really good so far this spring season, and we've known what we've had, and we've known the talent level that we've had and the commitment that we've had for the entirety of this break, and having to kind of hold that and sit on that and just wait with anticipation. That would have definitely been hard to not be able to come out and compete this spring, but definitely blessed to say that we are able to do this, and that we've been doing a pretty good job of trying to stay COVID safe and just do everything possible to keep playing.
Thank you.
Anything else for Kobe?
Hey, Kobe, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You can? Okay. Any concern that the progress you made in the past 4 weeks is stalled a little because of the time off, because of COVID?
I actually don't. I really don't think so, because one thing that our guys know is that adversity is only going to make us stronger. And that's one thing that I think we've inherited as Richmond football players is we're going to have some type of adversity. And this is just another level of adversity. And so it's the next man up mentality for the guys who are out, who's going to step up and fill that role, which is going to come in and help us in the long run, because we really don't know what's going to happen next. So honestly, I think if anything, it's pushed us a little bit harder, made us realize, we can't take this for granted. We can't take these people for granted. We can't take these games for granted. So we just got to go out and push ourselves every day, always have the next man ready, and just keep going forward.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Kobe.
Thank you.
What's up, y'all?
Hello, Coach.
Hey, John.
Hey, may I start by asking you to describe, in your view, the greatest improvement in Joe Mancuso from fall of 2019 to spring of 2021?
Leadership for sure. You can see every day he's out in practice, he's got a bounce in his step. He's bringing people along. He's into practice every day. He knows where it's going. He studies the game. I think he's made tremendous strides there. And then the other thing is he's taking care of the football, and that's huge too. So proud of where Joe is and how he's moving forward.
Hey, if I could follow up by asking about your determination that huddles would be more frequent in 2021 offensively than they were in 2019. What's the benefit of that?
Well, I think for one, everybody's on the same page when they break the huddle. They know the formation. They know where they're getting lined up. Where it's also helped us too is, it gives the quarterback a chance to process it going to the line of scrimmage. And if you've noticed, we don't look back over to the sideline anymore. He has the ability to change the play based on what he sees. And I think they're doing a great job with that. And, sometimes when you're just, you're trying to get personnel groupings and no huddle, and you're trying to get the quarterback up and try to get in the best possible, play. And, sometimes you got to look over there and I've never been a big fan of that, looking over. I just think when you look over, a defense can look over and get what they want. So I like the huddle. I like the way it's helped us this year.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach, if I can ask you, what is the likelihood that you guys will add another regular season game after William and Mary?
Yeah, I don't know, Sean. We're playing William and Mary Saturday. That's all I know right now is that if testing went well this morning, and we'll find that out tonight and some in the morning, testing went well. Looks like we're on track to play that game. And right now, that's all we're focused on, and that's all we know is that we will play William and Mary on Saturday.
Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't help you anymore.
No, that's quite all right. Quite all right. If I can follow up on that, with that being said, how much talk have you given the team about what's at stake? Not only the Capital Cup, but an undefeated regular season and a possibility of returning to the playoffs if you guys beat William and Mary Saturday.
We brought that up early in the week. Capital Cup was one of them. Chance for a conference championship and possibility of playoffs. Yes, that all three of those things were brought up to our guys. I think they probably had a good idea, but the big thing is I got Matt bringing the Capital Cup down there with us. We don't want to own that thing for 4 or 5 weeks. We want to make sure we have it for a while.
Coach, you see many teams in the league suspending operations for various reasons. I wonder if you could look around and what is your view of this spring now that you're close to the finish line, at least of the regular season?
John, it's been tough. We went out to practice this morning and jokingly, Clayton McConnell said, all right, because we have today off, we got school off today. And that's kind of what they do to give them a break away from school a little bit. And Clayton was saying, yeah, spring break today. We get a day off for spring break. And so, but the point being made is that these kids they don't get spring break. They're practicing. I told somebody it feels like, we've we're in week 15 of a 15-game season. These kids are in here every day. They're testing 3 days a week. They're not living a normal life, and they're fighting through. That's at the University of Richmond, and that's everywhere trying to get this done. I see people all the time, or hear people talk about, well, FBS didn't have this many issues. Yeah, well, the FBS has 120 people on every roster. The FBS has 85 scholarship players. The FBS, all that stuff. We don't have it in the FCS. It's not like we got, if in the fall, if we were out there in the fall, yeah, we got our 90, 95. We're in the spring. We came in the spring with about 64 players that could possibly play, and now we're down from that. And it's like that all throughout. I'm sure everybody's having these issues. So anybody that says, well, FCS, I mean, they're just not doing it correctly. Yeah, we are doing it correctly. We just don't have, we just don't have the numbers. A lot of places don't. And you're talking about 85 scholarship players to 63. You're talking about a spring season where, you're losing a lot of players going into that spring season. So I think all of FCS football has done a great job. I'm glad we're playing in the spring. It's a breath of fresh air for our team, and I'm sure a lot of teams. Anybody that had to cancel due to COVID, whether it's a game, a season, I know they're crushed. Their players are crushed because I know they want to play. And again, I just, this should not be a reflection on the CAA or FCS football. We all knew it was going to be hard. And so I think our conference office is doing a great job. They're doing the best they can. But, I don't want to hear people saying, well, FCS can't get it done. Why can the FBS get it done? So that's my stance on that. I don't even know. Did I answer your question? I got on a rant there, John.
Affirmative. Well done, Coach. Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
I was going to ask about your emotions, Coach, of this season as a whole, but I think you kind of said it with your expressive answer. I mean, I guess it's at a range of emotions: frustrated, angry, excited, happy, appreciative. Am I close to all of that?
I mean, every day that we get to come in the office and every day that we get to go practice football, makes us kind of forget about the pandemic. It gives our guys to do something they love. It gives coaches a chance to do something we love to do. I'm not sure how spring would look. I'm sure we'd be finishing up spring practice right now if they didn't have a spring season. I don't think we would have got as much out of that. It would have been hard to keep your players going. So I think having the ability to play games and compete has been just tremendous for our guys, for me, for our coaches, for everybody.
Anything else? Thank you, Coach.
All right,
Thank you,
thanks,
Coach.
guys. See y'all.
Thanks, Coach.